look at the rules first. See if you're giving them rules that conflict with what you're asking them to do. I've been working with children for 30 years, and a common thing I hear all the time from parents is, I just wish my child had more confidence. I said, what do you mean by confidence? Well, he's shy. I said, well, shy, give me some examples. And they'll say, well, he when I introduce him to new people, he doesn't talk to them. I said, well, does he warm up to them? Well, after a little while, he'll warm up and start talking. And so I'll start listening to the parent, and they'll give me some of the same situations over and over and over. And I'll say, so honestly, I don't know that I've ever met a super shy child. Okay. Because shy is all the time. Shy is like all the time. I'm not shy and then I start to like you. I'm just shy. I said, most of the time when I work with children, I see that kids are confused. And the parents will say, what do you mean confused? And I'll say, well, they don't understand the rules. What do you mean they don't understand the rules? And I'll typically give them two situations. The first one is, what's the number one thing we tell our kids? Never talk to strangers. Great. So you teach your kids, don't talk to strangers, don't talk to strangers, stranger danger, don't talk to strangers. And then guess what? Your friend comes over to the house, or you go over to your friend's house, and your friend says, hey, how are you? And the kid hides behind you, and you say, aren't you going to introduce yourself? Well, guess what? For the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, however old your child is, you've told them, don't talk to strangers. Now you put them in front of somebody and say, talk to this stranger. They're confused. They don't understand the rules. So one of the things we have to do is we have to make sure our children are set up with the proper rules. Don't talk to strangers. If you're not with me and someone approaches you, don't talk to them. If you're with me and I introduce you to someone, that means they're safe in this environment. When you're with me, it's okay to talk to them. So we have to make sure the kids understand the rules. Another story that I have is one of the students in the martial arts field that I taught was really, really good. And he wasn't a black belt, but he was really good. And the situation was happening all year long. And that's why his dad brought him to me, was to learn self-defense, because this kid was bullying him all the time. About a year later, the situation happened at school where the bully was just really hitting his son, and his son did nothing about it. And he came to me and says, everything he's learning in your martial arts is not working. He didn't do what he was trained to do today. And he goes, I know he does it in the sparring classes and he's doing it great there, but he's not taking it to the real world. And so we went to the conference room, and I said, well, before we say anything, just let me ask your child some questions. I said, what happened? He goes, well, he came up and he pushed me. What'd you do? Nothing. Okay, then what did he do? He pushed me again. I bumped into the wall, hit my head. What'd you do then? Nothing. Then he went to punch me. What'd you do? I did nothing. Why? Because my dad told me fighting's wrong. He said I should never fight. And so I looked at dad and said, see, your son thought that was fighting. He didn't understand that was defending himself because he was getting hurt. He didn't understand the rules. So we as parents have to look at the situations that our children may or may not get in and define the rules clearly so they understand most of these things we tell them are situational rules. Don't talk to strangers. Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you're with me and I'm introducing you to someone, I must think this person is safe, so that's okay. So remember, if you're seeing something in your child that is a behavior or a situation that you think, oh my gosh, I just wish, look at the rules first. See if you're giving them rules that conflict with what you're asking them to do. That's the one thing I can tell parents right off the bat is, I see this confidence thing, and not that we can't grow confidence, but a lot of the shyness part of the confidence that I see is because of the rules. Parents aren't explaining the rules in a way that makes sense to the kids. That's my lesson for you today.